I'm Rick Blickstead with the Wellesley Institute in Toronto, and we're a national urban health think tank that does policy and research. My issue really with this whole conference, and I think our opportunity, is to start moving away from simply asking the right questions to now getting the right answers. And that involves issues such as we need to change the paradigm of how we fund organizations, how we organize our organizations. We need to look at things like social purpose ventures. We need to combine partnerships with what we call the surprising coalition, the private sector, the government sector, the university, the community. In addition, I think we have to start recognizing what we're doing, increasing the profile, because unless we can raise the profile of the academic working in communities, we are going to have a hard road ahead of us, because the university by itself only wants to deal with sort of that pure research and training. This is a great opportunity for CBR and science shops to move forward, and if we change the paradigm and look at what I would call Vision 2020, that would be very good for all of us. The traditional paradigm has been we work with communities and we do research, and for most of the part we do great capacity building. We have to move beyond capacity building to understand that our work has to create pragmatic outputs for a society, because ultimately we are in the social change business. And if we're in the social change business, there has to be an outcome. And that outcome can't solely be the fact that we've made community researchers happier or we've made the community happier. We have to start with what's the policy question, what's the change question, then do the research that gets us there. That to me is the major paradigm shift. It's changing it's changing CBR from being an end in itself to being a means towards an end to create social change. First, the academy and governments will start looking at CBR as a practical and necessary means to create social change. We have to remember that governments never start parades. They only join parades. And so if we can use CBR to mobilize people to create change, then governments will get on the train, so to speak. I come from both a private and public sector background, and so my view is always anything that deals with the customer, that deals with people, is how you create change. It's all about real solutions for real people in real time. And as a result of that, CBR is the mechanism that actually deals with the community, that actually deals with people, that allows people to set the priorities. And that's what governments need from people. That's what they want from people, because in the end analysis, that's what politicians react to. And they allow us to give the lived experiences that puts a story and a face on the data.
My name is Dick Sclove. I'm from the LOCA Institute in the United States, and LOCA is an NGO which works on making science and technology more responsive to social concerns. And we played a role a decade ago in founding the Living Knowledge Network. The reason we got into the community-based research world is the U.S. has a vast research system, and predominantly it's oriented towards research for corporations, secondarily very strong amount of military research, and then there's also academic research, which often doesn't produce too much impact at all in the world. It's mostly about scholarship for getting promoted. And so community-based research is different from those in being oriented primarily towards doing research in service of civil society and helping groups in civil society advance their social aims. So it's an alternative research system that serves society and grassroots organizations and local governments and worker groups and women's groups and people of color groups and people who have problems where research could help them activate their agenda. And it also provides a platform for criticizing the mainstream system, because the mainstream system is either paid for with our tax dollars or with our purchases. So why shouldn't it be serving everybody's interests? In principle, the market helps ensure that a certain amount of corporate research is in the public interest, but not always. Because if you look at the problems that community-based research addresses, many of them are at least in part a product of the mainstream research system. So it's not like it exclusively produces benefits. It does, but it also produces harms. So in that sense, community-based research is important as an alternative, but it's not sufficient. If you do community-based research on the periphery and are serving civil society, that's terrific. But meantime, if there's this giant mainstream research system which is about 99 times or 100 times as big or 1,000 times as big, and it's kicking out problems much more quickly than you can address them, really what you want to do is not only do research in the interest of society, but make sure that the whole system is more being responsive to real social needs.